Okay, so today we are going to start with this new unit, polymorphism. Now already a few points of this unit we have taken it as a part of a second unit, as it is related with the class or inheritance, or it will be having a more correlation with this. So that's why we have taken these points in the second unit also. Just as a part of overview, we are going to take a review or revision as like kind of thing in today's session for these points, and the points which are not familiar with you, we are going to take in detail with example of these points. Okay, so when you are supposed to have hello, is it audible? There was some disturbance in the connection. Okay, so the points which are involved under this unit, that is polymorphism, are as these contains: introduction of polymorphism, introduction to polymorphism, types of polymorphism, operator overloading. So I think function overloading you have seen for this. So operator overloading, few points you might be discussed with your previous sessions also. Overloading with binary and unary operator. Pitfalls of operator overloading, what uh, are the restrictions, or we can say it as which will be some limitations when you are going to have the operator overloading. Then typecasting, type conversion, we can say it as. So normally this, it will be a features which will been used related with the as a part of a polymorphism, and one of the type of these polymorphism where we are supposed to get with this virtual function and virtual table or pure virtual function, which we have discussed already in the previous session related with the polymorphism. So types also we have discussed for this. So we are going to go these contents, and the points whichever we are not covered, that is related with the operator overloading and type conversion. So we are going to mainly focus on these points. So operator overloading with binary unary operator and some restrictions about it, that we are going to concentrate on this unit. Apart from it, polymorphism we have discussed in detail, and runtime polymorphism or its type, what is the use of pure virtual function, what is the virtual function. So as it is related with the virtual function, these points, so we have taken these points as a part of second unit. Okay, so so here we are going to get with these points which are not covered, or which are mainly deals with the polymorphism, concept of polymorphism. So as a point of review, we are going to get with this polymorphism. So polymorphism we have seen with this diagram also. So where we'll be having with the types of polymorphism, or generally the term polymorphism means what? Many forms. So these many forms where we are going to have mainly we are going to require to use with this, it will be with virtual function, virtual method, and we can design the system with some more flexibility which can be provided with these types. So where we'll be having with the types as a compile time polymorphism, or we are saying it as early binding, and next is a runtime polymorphism or dynamic binding. Now what is it expecting that when you are supposed to deal with the polymorphism? So polymorphism means what? It is having a many forms which has been uh, introduced, or which will be required either at a runtime, either at the compile time. And in that we'll be having one more term, that we are having it as function overloading as a part of a compile time binding or early binding, we can say it as, and virtual function and pure virtual function also, it will be a part of it. is a runtime polymorphism. So we have detailed discussed with these points related with the virtual function, pure virtual function, and function overloading point might be done with the first unit. So we are going to mainly concentrate on the operator overloading. So where what we are going to have it in the operator overloading, or what is expected generally, or how we are getting the operator overloading as a part of polymorphism. So what we are expecting in the operator overloading, that is, we are providing or we are having some predefined operators which are existence, or it will be given default, which is having some meaning for it. We are providing some additional meaning for these operators, or we are applying some additional meaning for these operators which can be used with some alternative purpose. So it will be having basic meaning, and for that meaning, or what is the actually polymorphism here we are going to get from it. That is, take an example that we are having the operator that is a bitwise left shift. So already I use this operator as a part of our comparison, or where we are having it as cout statement, right? So where we will be having with the cout statement with this bitwise left shift operator. For that again we'll be having some string which can be included as a part of it. Now it is having already meaning which is associated for it, or which has been already overloaded. We can say it as operator, which will be used in both the way as a stream insertion operator, right? So when we are going to have with the inserting with the stream, or bitwise left shift operator. Okay, so like this we'll be having with a few operators which has been already overloaded. Means what? Already that operator is having some meaning, and as a part of syntax we are using this operator with some alternative meaning for it. That means what? Here for one operator we are getting different meanings or different purpose that it can be achieved from it. That is nothing but a polymorphism. Poly means what? It is having a many forms of one. Here we are considering it as in the form of operator. If we are considering it as for a function, so there we'll be having few functions which will be having some meaning, and that also we can be overloaded. So operator overloading, why it will be included as a part of a polymorphism because of this, or generally why it will be referred as a part of, mainly we are calling or we are categorizing that under a compile time polymorphism or early binding. So these are all terms that we are able to get, or meaning that we are going to achieve at the time of compilation, because while doing compilation we are able to get these operators which has been used, what is having the meaning, and these all it will be generating with some code. Okay, so at every operator we are able to generate some compilation code, and with that code it will be giving the information to processor that this operator is going to perform the particular task. So what is expected here, when you are supposed to add these operators as a part of your code, what kind of information that it will be generating, what output that it will be generating, whether we have used that operator properly or not, whether we have overloaded that operator properly or not. That is the main thing that we need to require, or we need to remember while using the operator. Okay, so generally C++, it will be having this operator overloading as a part. Here we are going to see it with the class, how it will be done normally with simple operator overloading also, and with the class. Generally here we are going to use this term with the help of class, how it can be done, what is the syntax which is associated for it. So it can be used for user defined objects also, with the help of different objects which are going to include it as part of this class. And when you are going to use this operator, as we have discussed, as we have said, we need to take care that what kind of meaning that we are able to generate from this operator. Okay, so there will be a few arithmetic operations also that can be used with different types or different meaning for it. Okay, so one of best example, that is a multiplication. So multiplication means what? It is a successive addition. Okay, generally what we are saying it as, when we are talking about let's consider it as a plus operator. So plus, it can be used for doing addition of the two numbers. Also it can be used for concatenation of two numbers also. Okay, so when you are going to use this operator, it will be having the plus sign, that is arithmetic operation. If I'm having the operands, which will be a integer number, it can be worked as performing with some arithmetic operation. And when we are going to have with the string concatenation, there also we can use with this plus operator. And so it will be generating a code at a compile time, which will be giving some meaning for it, or in which form it will be used. Okay. So overloading an operator, which will be with either directly we can use it with the uh, variable, as in the form of variable, or with the help of some function. Okay, so we can have some functions which can be used as in the form of keyword, and that functions can be used for performing this task, that is operator overloading. Okay, so we can use this as in the form of functions also, that is operator plus. So like this we can use it in the program where we'll be having the operator will need to be overloaded with the functions. Okay, so which will be having some keywords which can be used as in the form of keyword and this sign. Okay, either it might be, here we are taking it as a plus sign, we can take with the any operator need to be used. Now like this we'll be having with the few more operators, mainly which has been deal with the class. That is, first is assignment operator. Okay, and we are having it as address operator, that is a ampersand sign. Okay, so generally assignment operator, we are using it for assigning the value. Here we are going to use this assignment operator. Okay, so if you are remembering, we have used with the new keyword. So where we are going to have the object that we are going to, let's say, as one of the object as B, and for that we are going to create with the assignment operator for it. Okay, same it will be done for when you are going to use the ampersand sign. So ampersand sign, it is having the operator which can be used with the address operator. By default it will return the address of an object. Okay, so generally we have used it as a part of a class where we are going to specifically mention this as a part of a object. Okay, so when you are going to get the address of this, any, either we are using we are used with the pointer, where we are going to have the function or function with the pointer, or variable, or with the help of object also. So there we are used this ampersand sign for getting the address. Okay, so that means what, when you are going to deal with the class, we'll be having with the objects which will be uh, having already predefined meaning for this, which is specifically used for getting the, either it will be address, or either for creating an object. Either it is in the form of constructor, we are going to use this. Okay, so these are the two different mechanisms with which you can introduce the operator overloading as a part of your program. Either it is in the form of directly with operator with the function, or in the class, if you are going to talk, we'll be having with the these predefined terms with which we can get the objects to be used. Okay. Now, these it can be operators that can be overloaded. Okay, so here you can observe this. We'll be having with this plus sign. Then arithmetic operators we can say it as comparison operator. Then few operators you might be knowing, few you are not using or you are not used yet. Okay, so we'll be having with the keywords also. Few keywords, as I said earlier, there will be a few keywords which can be overloaded. Okay, so which we have used, that is a new, delete. These we have used for performing the memory allocation. So these operators or these it will be considered as in the form of operators. No doubt it will be a keywords, but these keywords can be used as in the form of operator and we can overload these operators. Okay, so how we are going to use this or what it will be a, now there will be again the form with which we are going to use this operator overloading, either it is unary operator or binary operator. Also it will be having with some restriction. Okay, so restrictions, as we have said, that a few operators that cannot be overloaded. Okay, so which are those? There is a first is a dot, then dot star, scope resolution operator, size of, and so these five operators that we cannot overload. It is having already meaning which has been decided for it. Okay, so dot operator we are using it for objects, specifying the function for it. Okay, so generally we are going to use it is for performing some task related with the object or getting access within the data member and member functions of this class. So these operators we cannot have or we cannot give some alternative meaning for these operators. Okay, so we are five it will be having with the reason or why these operators only. We are going to discuss that in detail when you are going to see with the basics of this operator overloading. Okay. Now, so restrictions not only with the help of these operators, but we'll be having with some restrictions for using the operators also. Okay, using means what? In which sequence you are going to have the operator to be used, that will be having a protocol that we need to maintain. First, there is a precedence of an operator cannot be changed. So precedence means what? The sequence in which you are going to execute the or the compiler that you are going to compile it, that cannot be changed. Okay. So example, best example for this, just tell you for this example. Okay. So let's take an example. I think this window it is able to share. Okay. So let's take an example. We are going to have with one variable which will be containing this value is equal to, let's say, 7 plus 3 multiplied by 2. So what will be output for this? If I need to perform this operation, this arithmetic operation, what will be output for this? Can anyone give the answer for this? So it will be having the syntactical, these all terms. We need to display that or what cout statement it will be having. Okay, so it will be, we are going to have the cout statement for this. Okay, so many of you might be expecting that it is not having cout, so we are going to get the output. So what will be output for this program? 13. Right, so you are having the output as 13. So how it will be done with the output for this? first it will be done with the, or some other, you might be feeling that we are going to perform with the sequence, that is from left to right execution. So what it will be getting for this, so first we are going to perform it with the precedence, that is a multiplication. So precedence, it is the sequence in which these operators will be executing. Okay, so what the sequence for this, it will be a first, it will be giving the higher precedence for multiplication. So first it will perform with this multiplication, that is a 3 multiplied by 2, 6. Okay, and then it will perform this 7 plus 6 and output as 30, right? It will not perform with the as a sequence which we have given it as, that is it will not perform with the output as 7 plus 3, 10, and 10 multiplied by 2, 20. So it will not be the output for this. So what is the sequence? It will perform with the precedence. With this precedence, there will be having the higher precedence for multiplication side. Okay, so this precedence we cannot change. Okay, so precedence of an operator cannot be changed. That is for where we'll be having a execution which will be done from left to right only, but with the higher precedence operator will be executed first and then lower precedence operator. Similarly, it will be done for multiplication and division. So where multiplication and division are having the same precedence. Okay, so in that case, what it is expected? Are you getting it? What I'm saying it as? So in the same, let's say the operation that we are performing, if I'm going to have it the same, that is a variable a is equal to 7 multiplied by 3 and let's say divided by 2 something. Okay, so here we'll be having with the same precedence for both, that is for multiplication and division, but more specifically it will perform the, either it will perform first left operator, it will be done, that means what, multiplication it can be done and then division it can be, so both are having the same precedence. Okay, left to right or right to left, it can perform with the both operations where it will be having with the same precedence value. Okay, so there you might be getting confused, or compiler it will be performing, or you can just check with these different permutations where we can get with the same precedence value. Okay, try with this so that you can able to get what output that you are going to generate. Okay, next is a associativity of an operator cannot be changed. Associativity, that means what? So as we have said right now, there is a for same precedence value, if I'm going to have for one statement, there will be having with the same precedence, and these values it will generate the output as in the form of execution from left to right or right to left. Okay, generally it will perform the left to right compilation where we'll be having with the same precedence value. Now, next it will be the number of operands cannot be changed. So when you are going to have it the arity, we are going to call that as number of operands, which we are going to use it now. Here we are going to talk about the term that is called as a unary operator remains unary and binary means binary operator. That means what? Where we will be having with the type of operator, which type of operator that we are going to overload, it will be remains same, or operands which can be used in this, it need to be same. Okay. So operator ampersand, multiplication, plus each have a unary and binary version. Okay, so what we are having it as in the example, that we can say it as, so binary operator where we'll be having with the two operands which are involved to left hand side and right hand side for this, right? So example that we can give it as, so already you might be familiar with this term, just we need to take a overview for this. Let's say 2 plus 3, so where we'll be having with the two operands which will be involved as a part of it, and when we are going to have, let's say, as variable var, so here we'll be having with the one operand depending on the value which will be stored under this variable. Okay, so this it will be used as in the form of operator, or the operands that we are going to use, it cannot be changed or it will be remain same. So when you are going to make a overloading for this unary operand or unary operator overloading and binary operator overloading can be overloaded separately. Okay, so in the same example, if you need to go for the same, you can go for it. Okay, so why we are introducing or why we are including these restrictions? Because generally, when you are going to get with the questions, you need to see that as in the form of MCQs or also in the form of oral at the time of oral, you might be asked with these kind of restrictions. What can be a restriction that you have to generate for the operator overload? Okay. Next is no new operators can be created. So when you are going to have a provision, we can perform with the overloading. We cannot generate uh, new operators. Okay, so which are not having any meaning generally. So whatever the operators that we are using it, or combination that we can say it as, it cannot be allowed. So operator which is having a separate meaning, that can be overloaded, but we cannot introduce the new operators for overloading. Okay, so where we need to use with the existing operators. So one more term or one more thing that we need to remember about this, that is we should not overload for built-in data types. Okay, so built-in types operator means what? It cannot be changed from integer to other form of data types. So if I'm considering it as, let's say, addition of two numbers, so in that case, so these two integer operands cannot be considered as character and it should perform the concatenation of the string. Okay, so if I'm considering it as, let's say, the integer values with some, let's say a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. So the output, if I'm able to generate it as a plus b, so it will perform with the output as addition of these two integer numbers. Okay, and if I'm going to have with these values as in the form of character value as 10 and 20, so it will perform with the output as in the form of concatenation of these two strings. Okay, right. So the operator or the built-in data types we cannot change for this. When you are going to have with the operator need to be overloaded, and if you are trying for doing with this, it will generate a syntactic error, right? So when you are going to have with the operator need to be overloaded, it cannot be changed with the built-in types. Okay, so these are the some restrictions or basics that we need to consider about the operator overloading. I will go for the separate points where we'll be having with the overloading and unary operator. So talking about the unary operator, it can be overloaded with no arguments or one argument. Okay, so that is the one thing that you need to remember about it. If I'm not having any operator, that can be also allowed. So it can be used as mainly uh, deals with the when you are going to talk about the class. It should be usually implemented as a member function of that class. So where we will be not having the friend function and class, uh, it will be again violating this encapsulation. So if I'm going to have it the friend function, generally we are avoiding the part of a overloading. Okay, so either it might be a function overloading, because friend function it will be allowing you access for data members or member functions which are involved. Generally it will be for, we have seen with this friend keyword how it can be used or what is the meaning of it. So it is giving you access with the private data members also. So in that case, if I'm using again for operator overloading, it can violate the meaning of it. So generally we are going to avoid the friend function or the classes which will be having the friend function. Okay, so what we are having it as a part of a member function means what? That is a example like this, where we'll be having with the class as a string public data type for this as a boolean operator exclamatory mark, or you can say it as it will be not equal to or equal to operator that we are going to use. Okay, and with the constant value, if I'm going to have with the values which if it is involved under it for overloading that operator. Okay, so we'll see with this with an example, so that it will be again more clear for how we are able to get with the operator overloading. So we might be having less than 1 minute. If it is disconnected, please rejoin the meeting.